Mabuhay. My name is Landen Hementera, and I formally accept my nomination for the role of Cultural Chair. What does Filipino culture mean to you? I've thought about this question for years and years, and it was even brought up again by James Beltrano during Kapatitsmo. From being born in America to moving to the Philippines during my formative years, and suddenly and unknowingly coming back to America to continue my education, I've had my fair share of struggling to maintain my identity as a Filipino American. However, throughout my years of living in America, I've grown to be adaptable, resilient, and authentic as a result of living in an isolated town that lacks Filipino communities. Furthermore, I am unafraid to be vocal. Vocal about my support for the club, both to cabinet and the Gen members, but also about my disapproval of how some things may be run. Whoa. These qualities are the exact qualities that I will bring into PAC as your culture chair to guarantee that I do my job not only efficiently, but also with care. As culture chair, there are two main events that I would introduce. The first one is called Samahan sa Sinehan, which translates to join together at the cinema, or it could also be known as PAC Movie Night. During this event, we would watch classic Filipino movies of different genres, and I would lead discussions regarding the audience's thoughts, recurring themes in the film, and its significance to Filipino culture. Additionally, there would be a sari-sari store, which in the Philippines is a little corner store where we'd be selling Filipino snacks and foods. However, I want to emphasize that I will make sure that this event is not meant for solely socializing, but to showcase Filipino culture by highlighting Filipino art and talent. The second event I would do is a bigger event called Balikbayan Buddies. This event would be a pen pal event where, in a span of 3 months, Gen members would write electronic letters to pen pals in the Philippines, most likely to junior high to high school students. Every 2 weeks, members and pen pals would send each other a letter based on the prompts I would give out. At the end of the 3 months, members would be able to give their pen pals gifts through a balikbayan box that I would send out to the Philippines, where they could possibly open it on a Zoom call. This event would be extremely special because we would be able to talk with students who have grown up and lived in the Philippines, as well as share our experiences living in America as Filipino Americans. This special connection would have a lasting impact on both our Gen members and their pen pals in the Philippines. When I found PAC, I was scared because I wasn't expecting a Filipino club to be so intimidating. It seemed as if this culture club was more of a social club. And even though it's gotten better over the past few years, thanks to our past culture chairs, it is still something I will address if I were to be next year's culture chair. I will build off of the foundation that Hannah and James laid before me and emphasize why we are a club in the first place. Our culture is the foundation of this club, and without it, we all wouldn't be gathered in this room right now. In fact, in Filipino culture, Filipinos are known for their warm and welcoming charm, and as culture chair, I will ensure that that charm is present. Without losing our culture, I will make certain that everyone feels welcome and that they belong because, as Filipino Americans, our culture is one of the only things we have. And that's what Filipino culture means to me. Community. And that's what I want to provide for you all as next year's cultural chair. Salamat.
All right, now I'm going to open the floor to questions. I saw Rochelle's hand first. Go ahead.
Since all of your events are collaborative and you host none of them alone, how are you going to handle it when your co-event planner has slack that you need to pick up? Are you gonna delegate, be like, oh, these are the tasks that you need to do, or are you just gonna let them kind of walk all over you?
As I said in my speech, I'm not letting anyone walk over me. If there's something that needs to be handled, I will do it immediately. And if that takes for me to become more strict and have to delegate tasks, then I'm unafraid to do so. And I already have all the schedules and the brainstorming ideas of all the events I want to do. So if I were to collaborate, I know exactly what I want to do, and I will know exactly what to tell that person.
All right, Jason.
As Rochelle said, as cultural chair, you work closely with the field chair. You say you are very outspoken. How will you make sure your voice doesn't overshadow the field chair during your event or other cab members' events?
Voice in terms of my opinions on certain.
Either your opinions or just make sure you're your opinion isn't the only one that's produced, or you feel like you're not overshadowing other individuals.
Right. As a person, I see myself as one who's very supportive of other people. I like to have other people share their ideas and not overstep my position and only tell mine. Because to work as a club, we have to work as a team. So to work as a team, we need everyone to provide their information in order to be more efficient, and also for me not to override with my own opinions.
Kylie?
So as you know, academic chair and cultural chair collaborate on the event PGrad. The event seems to be catered more towards academics, with it being graduation and all. What would you do to make the event more culturally relevant?
During PGrad, one of the things I wanted to do is have some of PCN perform at PGrad. So we've worked on PCN for a whole year, and I want to showcase that at PGrad, so we'd have Tanik or any other dancers that would be willing to do so. And I think highlighting the fact that culture is what we brought us and why we're here, like for PGrad, and all the struggles that we've overcame in order to graduate, living here in America, is important for me to remind them because it's an important part of our history.
Noah? I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball here. Typically, the cultural chair hasn't worked with the PCN Court or PCN Board in general to help with, I guess, coming up with more culturally accurate things within PCN. And I wanted to ask if you have ever thought about working with PCN more in depth to ensure that we're providing more accurate things.
I've talked to Jai about this already. We wanted to collaborate on having PCN show the cultural outfits during Gen meetings in order to symbolize like why we're wearing this in the first place, and be able to add that into the dance. So for Basigan, which is a dance I did, we had our fishing nets and we had our hats, and being able to fully understand why we're wearing that, I think we'd be able to help PCN and its members be more immersive in the dance. So that's one of the ways I work with PCN.
Thank you. I have like 3 more questions if anyone else wants to take it.
Okay, so how would you handle an ignorant Gen member that would, I guess, like, mock our culture? Like, how would you handle that situation?
Right. I'd remind them, okay, it's this thing I like to call, I just thought about it, I want to call it the mabuhay effect. Because, because as Filipinos, as I said, we're all very warm and welcoming. And so I would remind them that that behavior is not tolerated, because no matter the culture actually, we're all supposed to lead a life of positivity and be able to work together. And that ignorance shouldn't be tolerated at all in our Filipino club because of the fact that hospitality is rooted in our culture.
As cultural chair, but also a CAB member, you juggle a lot of your responsibilities. Well, as a CAB member and as a cultural chair, how do you intend on having good time management with like all the events you have to throughout the year and all the events that you are planning on doing this year or next year, as well as your personal stuff, your academics, and everything else?
I think communication is one of the biggest things that we need to value. Not only communication with other people, but also communication with myself. So being able to know when I need a mental health break, when I need to step back and focus on myself is very important to make myself, to be able to do the events that I want to do. And also communicate with other CAB members, especially if I need help, because I shouldn't be afraid to ask for help when I need it and not have that burden on my shoulders. But on top of that, I have a schedule already of what I want to do, and I'd also keep a schedule of my personal life and my academic life, and incorporate those to see when I have free time to give myself those breaks. and when I have to finish things by the due date.
Michelle?
Can you respectfully critique your pride?
Respectfully critique my pride. I think one of the things that my pred did was actually really good. He brought back more of the culture aspect in terms of the gen meeting cultural lessons, because it was more interactive with the gen members. But one thing that I would change about it is that sometimes it may seem as glossed over, where it doesn't really have an impact on the gen members in a way. So for example, if I'm telling you or teaching you all about, like, let's say, the fruits. Like, if I'm just telling you, oh, it's like a strawberry is like a strawberry and tagalog, you guys aren't really going to remember that in the long run. So making sure that there's a cultural significance in the cultural lesson that ties in to the emotional aspect of like the gen members, I think is something I'm going to do if I were to be cultural chair.
Alright. I guess going off of that, can you please give us like a preview of a possible cultural lesson that you would give?
Can I have one prepared? Can I get it?
Go on your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Okay. Mabuhay, everyone. I'm going to teach you all about what it means to be Filipino. To answer, I want you all to think and ask yourself why you joined PAC. And if you thought, oh, I wanted to make friends or I just wanted to have fun, then great, because that traces back to one major commonality: community. Filipinos are known for their warmth and hospitality, and actually that's why I joined PAC. I was greeted with arms wide open and met a bunch of new people who I'm really close to now. I found community. Being Filipino creates community for all of us to gain, or for all of us to again make new friends or have fun. And being Filipino means that despite geographic location and what percentage Filipino you are, we are all united under a sense of community and cultural expressions, whether that's food, basketball, or listening to Biwa. Furthermore, as Filipino Americans, we face the difficult challenge of navigating both cultures and identities in a country that, even in some places, may not foster Filipino culture. Some people feel disconnected with their culture because of the fact that they weren't born in the Philippines or can't speak, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that we are all there for each other and foster bayanihan, which is a Filipino cultural tradition that translates to community or unity or communal unity. This leads me to the three key words that I want you all to take away from today. The first being what we just learned, bayanihan. So repeat after me, syllable by syllable. Ba, ya, ni, han. Great. So every time you think or reflect on PAC, I hope you can all remember bayanihan, because at the end of the day, we're all here for each other. Remember, you, the Gen members, make this club. The next word is kapwa. Say it with me. Wa. Which translates to togetherness, or shared identity, which is the foundation of PAC. The last word for today is pananagutan. Pa, na, gu, tan. Pananagutan. Boom. Which translates to responsibility. In English, responsibility often means that you're in charge of a task. In Filipino, pananagutan means you're the answer to someone else's need. It's about being answerable or accountable to your community, not just yourself. By practicing pananagutan, we are able to realize our full humanity. So can I have you all repeat the three words? Bayanihan, kapwa, and pananagutan.
Bayanihan, kapwa, and
Pananagutan. There you go. I hope you all leave today thinking about these three words, because these are hard-hitting words that build us as Filipinos. And just remember, no matter how Filipino you are, it is important to live your life with bayanihan, kapwa, and pananagutan. Salamat.
Alright, we have two more questions open to anyone. Go ahead, Hannah.
What legacy do you want to leave as cultural chair?
or what do you want everyone to take away by the end of your term this year?
I want everyone to take away by the end of my term that, I mean, I've highlighted a lot in my speech and everything I've said, but the fact that we are a welcoming community, I myself, I think I'm very welcoming and I like to meet new friends and talk to other people. So, and that's obviously rooted in being Filipino. So I want to spread that to everyone, even if you're not Filipino. And that's the legacy I want to leave, because I think positivity is a driving force and is a really powerful force that can override any of the negativity that there is in the world.
One last question. Anyone?
So, as you know, spring semester can be very slow, and it can also be when CAB members start to feel burnout. How do you plan to handle your burnout, but also maintaining Gen members like to keep coming? Or, yeah, how will you handle burnout in spring semester, but also like keeping the club alive for Gen members to come back to?
I think one of the main answers is having that schedule I have, because I'm able to keep track of everything that I'm doing. But one of the most important parts are the people around me. So my friends are what keep me going, really. They allow me to be myself, and honestly, they keep me in check. So being with them, I'm able to keep my determination going while also being able to be a friend to the Gen members as well.
Okay, perfect. We still have one, right?
That was.
What else? Wishing. Yes. 10 plus. Plus one. I think we do. You want another question?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Jason.
Culture can be very scary, especially for Filipino Americans who may feel disconnected with our culture. What can you do as cultural chair to uplift and inspire people to open up more to the culture?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Culture can be very scary, especially for Filipino Americans who may feel disconnected with our culture. What can you do as cultural chair to uplift and inspire people to open up more to the culture?
I want to remind them that we're all on the same journey. No matter how Filipino we are, no matter how immersed we are in the different cultural aspects of the Philippines, we are all here for a reason. We all share the same struggles of living in America and being disconnected from the motherland, I guess, in the Philippines. But and we're all here for each other. And encouraging them to show different parts of their culture and to not be afraid, which once again goes back to the welcoming aspect of allowing people to be themselves and allow them to thrive in a community surrounded by Filipinos.
Thank you.
Thank you.